This lesson is fine-tuning your workflow. In this lesson, you'll take a look at some ways to make working with Dreamweaver more efficient for you. Specifically, you'll be taking a look at using guides as visual aids for layout. First, you will create a Dreamweaver site for the BB10 lessons folder. Once that's completed, you will open index.html. What you'll be taking a look at here is using guides as a tool to assist you in creating your layout. To use guides, we must first turn on rulers. You will notice that the default value for rulers is pixels. This is appropriate when working with a website. Creating guides in Dreamweaver is similar to the way you work with guides in any other Adobe product. To create a guide, simply click on the left ruler and drag onto our workspace. While holding down the mouse button and dragging, you'll notice that a yellow pop-up box lists the location of our guide in pixels. We'll position our first guide at 38 pixels. Next, we'll click to create a second vertical guide at approximately 494 pixels. I got lucky on this try, but it can be difficult to place your guide exactly where you want it to be. If this is the case, you can double-click any guide to bring up the Move Guide dialog box. Here, I can set the location to the exact number, in this case 494 pixels. Once you've chosen the location in pixels, click OK. We'll create two horizontal guides in the same manner, clicking on the top ruler and dragging down to approximately 152 pixels. And if you don't get it exact, that's okay. Double click on it and set the pixels to 152. And we'll click and drag our second guide and place that at approximately 380 pixels. Now that your guides are in place, let's say you want to know how much space is between them. Dreamweaver can help you with that by calculating the distance for you. Simply press the Control key on Windows, Command on Mac, and Dreamweaver will display a blue line with two arrows on either side, with the distance between the 2 points displayed in a white box in pixels. While holding down the Command or Control key and moving your cursor around the screen, you'll see that Dreamweaver also displays the distance between the guides and the edges of your document. Additionally, if the color of your web page makes it difficult to see the guides, you can change the color of the guides. Simply go to the View menu, choose Guides, and Edit Guides. From here, you can change the guide color and the color of the distance line as well. Clicking Snap to Guides can be useful in positioning your elements. You can also lock the guides to avoid accidentally repositioning them. Next, we'll create an absolute position div that we'll place between the marked off area of our document. To create our div, we'll go to the Insert panel and click on Div. In the Insert Div dialog box, we'll leave the insert set to @InsertionPoint. And since we're inserting an absolutely positioned div, we'll provide an ID. In this case, we'll use photo. After typing the ID, we'll click OK. And Dreamweaver will insert our new div at the top of the page along with some placeholder content. We now need to convert this div into an absolute position div. And we'll do so using the CSS Designer panel. I'm going to double-click the Insert panel to expand my CSS Designer. Clicking Style CSS from the sources, and I'll click the Add Selector button to create a new selector. Dreamweaver suggests a selector name that's a little too specific, so let's change that to simply Photo. After changing the selector name to Photo, let's click Enter or Return. And from the Layout properties, we'll scroll down and choose Position Absolute. After setting our photo div's position to absolute, I should be able to click and drag on my absolute position div. Since I'm currently missing the drag handle, I'll click the Design button again to refresh. Now our photo div displays with a grab handle and resize handles. Simply click on the tab, and we'll place it and resize it so that it takes up the space between our guides. Since we're using Snap to Guides, you'll notice that our shape snaps directly to the edges of the guide. And to make our photo div more interesting, we'll select and delete the placeholder text, go to our Files panel, open our Images folder, and click and drag HP Photo into our div. So that's it for now. In this lesson, we took a look at using guides as visual aids for creating our layout. This lesson has been fine-tuning your workflow.